How to Listen to Your Inner Voice. Read by Elena Emira. Introduction. The Whisper Within. There is a voice inside you that has always known the way. You may have heard it in fleeting moments, a quiet nudge, a gut feeling, or a sudden sense of clarity in the midst of chaos. It doesn't shout, it whispers, it doesn't argue. It gently reminds you of who you are. We call it many names: intuition, gut instinct, inner wisdom, or soul guidance. But whatever name we give it, it exists in all of USA built-in compass meant to guide us toward our most authentic lives. So why do so many of us ignore it? Because we're taught from a young age to look outward, to listen to authority, to fit in, to measure our worth based on what others think. We get so used to chasing approval, success, or comfort that we forget how to be still. We forget how to trust ourselves. And yet, that whisper never leaves. Even in the loudest moments of our lives, when everything feels uncertain or overwhelming, that voice is still there waiting for us to remember. This book is an invitation to come home to yourself, to slow down, to listen, to reconnect with the wisdom that's been inside you all along. It won't always be easy. In fact, learning to trust your inner voice may be the bravest thing you ever do. It asks you to peel back layers of fear, ego, and expectation. It asks you to be honest with yourself, to feel things you may have buried, to let go of what no longer fits, and to step boldly into the unknown. But if you choose to listen, everything begins to shift. You start making decisions that align with your values, not just what looks good on paper. You begin to feel peace, even when the path ahead isn't clear. You stop seeking validation and start living with quiet confidence. You begin to recognize that the life you truly want is already calling you through your inner voice. This is not just a self-help journey. It's a return to your truth, and it starts now. A personal invitation. I didn't always listen to my inner voice. There were years when I drowned it out with busyness, overthinking, or the opinions of others. I made choices that looked good from the outside but left me feeling empty inside. I said yes when I wanted to say no. I stayed silent when my soul begged me to speak up. I followed logic over intuition, fear over trust, and I paid the price: burnout, anxiety, disconnection, and a deep sense of not quite living my own life. But eventually, the whisper became a roar. I couldn't ignore it any longer. So I began listening, really listening for the first time. I learned to sit in silence, to question what I believed, to notice the subtle nudges and feelings that surfaced when I let my guard down. And slowly, I began making choices that felt right, not just rational. It wasn't instant. It wasn't perfect. But it was real. And it changed everything. This book is written from that place, not as someone who's mastered the art of listening within, but as someone who is on the path with you. I want to share what I've learned, what I'm still learning, and what I know to be true. You already have the answers. You just need the courage to hear them. Chapter 1. Understanding the Inner Voice. Your inner voice is not a mystery, though. It often feels mysterious. It is the quiet presence within you that instinctively knows what's right for you, even before your logical mind catches up. But what exactly is it? Your inner voice is that intuitive feeling when you meet someone and just know you can trust them or not. It's that gentle nudge when you're about to say yes, but feel a strange discomfort in your gut. It's the spark that urges you to take a chance, quit a job, walk away, speak up, or start something new. It's not always loud. In fact, it rarely is. That's part of what makes it so difficult to hear. The world around us is full of noise, notifications, opinions, social media, obligations, and societal expectations. In that chaos, the inner voice can easily be dismissed or drowned out, but it never disappears. It's always there patiently waiting for you to listen. The language of intuition. Your inner voice doesn't speak in full sentences or deliver long speeches. It speaks in feelings, sensations, images, and energy. It may show up as a gut feeling in your stomach, a sudden flash of clarity or insight, a sense of peace or ease when making a decision, a physical tightening in your body when something feels wrong, a persistent thought that won't go away. This voice is not the same as your inner critic. Let's be clear about that. Your inner critic is the voice of fear, doubt, and judgment. It tells you you're not good enough. It plays worst-case scenarios on repeat. It's often the voice of your past-off people who projected their fears onto you. Your inner voice, by contrast, is calm, steady, and compassionate. It may challenge you, but it never shames you. It guides you, not with fear, but with truth. It knows your deepest values and highest potential, even when you forget. Learning to tell the difference is essential. Inner voice versus external noise. We live in a world obsessed with data, logic, and expert advice. We're taught to trust statistics, algorithms, and formulas. And while reason absolutely has its place, it often comes at the expense of our own inner wisdom. Think about how often you make a choice based on what others expect. Override your gut feeling because it doesn't make sense. Look for approval instead of asking yourself what you want. Stay in situations because they're safe even if they're not fulfilling. This is the cost of ignoring the inner voice. Over time, you begin to feel disconnected, uncertain, or even resentful, not because you don't know what to do, but because you've stopped listening to the part of you that does. Your inner voice is the quiet anchor beneath the noise. It's the place you return to when the opinions fade and the crowds disappear. It's the voice that reminds you already know. The inner voice is unique to you. There is no one-size-fits-all path to listening within. Everyone experiences their inner voice differently. For some, it's a gentle inner whisper. For others, it's a strong bodily sensation. Some people hear it clearly in meditation. Others feel it when walking in nature, journaling, or creating. The key is to pay attention. Start noticing what it feels like when something aligns with you. When you're fully yourself, unmasked, unfiltered, free, that is the space where your inner voice thrives. You've heard it before. Think back to a time in your life when you knew something deeply, even if it didn't make sense logically. Maybe you walked away from a relationship or friendship that everyone else thought was perfect, but you knew it wasn't right. Maybe you applied for a job that felt like a long shot, but something in you just knew to try. Maybe you felt a sudden urge to call someone, and later found out they needed you at that exact moment. These are moments of intuitive wisdom. The more you acknowledge them, the more they show up. The more you act on them, the stronger your connection becomes. Why it matters. In a world that constantly pulls your attention outward, the ability to go inward is a superpower. Listening to your inner voice means making decisions with clarity instead of confusion, creating a life that reflects your truth, not just society's definition of success, living with fewer regrets because you honored your knowing, building resilience, trust, and self-respect, finding peace even when life feels chaotic. It doesn't mean everything becomes easy. It means everything becomes real. You stop living on autopilot and start engaging with your life from a place of deep inner alignment. Listening is a skill you can relearn. If this all sounds unfamiliar or out of reach, take heart. You haven't lost your inner voice, it's just been quiet for a while. Like a muscle that's gone unused, your inner guidance grows stronger the more you practice listening. It starts with curiosity, with noticing, with creating space to feel. Over time, it becomes second nature and internal compass you can trust even in the darkest moments. A gentle start. At the end of this chapter, I invite you to take 5 minutes. Close your eyes, place your hand on your heart, ask, what is one thing I've been ignoring that I need to hear? Don't force an answer. Just listen. Maybe it's a word, an image, a memory, or a feeling. Maybe it's silence, and that's okay too. You've just taken your first step. Chapter 2. The Science and Spirit Behind It. Listening to your inner voice isn't just a mystical idea. It's deeply human-rooted in both science and spirit. For generations, cultures across the world have honored the quiet wisdom that lives within. Today, modern research is catching up, proving what ancient traditions have always known. Intuition is real, and it can be a powerful guide. In this chapter, we'll explore the dual nature of your inner voice, the part that's hardwired into your biology, and the part that connects to something greater than logic alone. The biology of intuition. Neuroscience has found that intuition isn't just a feeling, it's a rapid-fire subconscious processing of information. Here's how it works. Your brain is constantly absorbing data, millions of signals from your environment, body, and past experiences. Most of this processing happens below the level of conscious thought. When your brain detects a pattern, it sends you a signal, often through a gut feeling, a sense of discomfort, or a quiet knowing. This signal feels fast because it bypasses the slower, analytical part of the brain, the prefrontal cortex, and instead comes from the limbic system, or emotional and survival center. Researchers call this somatic marker hypothesis. Basically, your body remembers things even if your mind doesn't. So when something feels off, even if you can't explain it, it's because your brain is drawing on experience and memory to guide you. Heart-brain connection. Your heart also plays a surprising role. Studies from the HeartMath Institute show that the heart sends more signals to the brain than the brain sends to the heart. These signals influence emotional processing, decision-making, and perception. When you experience intuitive clarity, your heart rhythm becomes smooth and coherent. You feel calm, focused, and aligned. This heart coherence can be measured proof that intuition isn't just emotional, it's physiological. You really do know in your heart. Gut feelings are real. The gut is often called the second brain. It contains over 100 million neurons, more than the spinal cord, and produces 95% of the body's serotonin, a chemical responsible for mood regulation. When you say, I have a bad feeling in my gut, that's not metaphorical. It's your enteric nervous system reacting. Your gut is highly sensitive to emotions, stress, and signals from your environment. It knows. So the next time your stomach tightens or you feel butterflies before a decision, pay attention. Your body is trying to tell you something your mind hasn't caught up with yet. The spirit of inner knowing. Now, let's talk about the other side of intuition, the part that science can't fully explain, but most people have experienced spiritual insight. Across cultures and centuries, people have described moments of deep clarity that seem to come from beyond logic. A sudden urge to turn left instead of right only to avoid an accident. A dream that reveals a truth before it unfolds in waking life. A quiet whisper during meditation or prayer that brings peace and direction. Spiritual teachers, mystics, and indigenous traditions have always viewed the inner voice as sacred. Whether you call it your higher self, soul, spirit, God, or the universe, it's a presence that lives inside you, guiding you toward wholeness. This guidance often shows up when you create space through silence, stillness, ritual, nature, or deep feeling. It's subtle but unmistakable. And when it arrives, it brings a sense of truth that words can't fully explain. Ancient wisdom traditions. Let's look at how some of the world's wisdom traditions speak of the inner voice. Buddhism emphasizes mindfulness and awareness. The inner voice is the witness accessible through meditation and presence. Christianity speaks of the still, small voice of God, a gentle guide that leads believers from within. Indigenous cultures. Many honor the concept of inner knowing as a connection to ancestors, the land, and spirit guides. Listening within is seen as vital for harmony and survival. Hinduism recognizes the Atman, the inner self, which is divine in nature. When you tune into your inner voice, you're connecting to universal wisdom. Sufism, Islamic mysticism, emphasizes the heart as a center of divine knowing, often reached through love, poetry, and surrender. What's striking is how universal this concept is. Across continents and belief systems, the message is the same. You are more than your thoughts. There is wisdom inside you worth trusting. The blend of both worlds. So, is your inner voice biological or spiritual? The answer may be both. Think of it like this. Intuition is the bridge between your body and your soul, your mind and your spirit. It pulls from everything you've experienced, everything you believe, and everything you are. It's your internal guidance system, both finely tuned and deeply mystical. Some people may explain their inner voice as a gut feeling. Others may describe it as divine guidance. Either way, it's a compass that points you toward your truth. And the best part? It's already built in. When science meets spirituality. Today, more people are recognizing the need to merge science and spirituality, especially in the field of personal growth. Coaches, psychologists, and mindfulness teachers now use practices that incorporate both meditation, breathwork, body awareness, heart-centered journaling, and somatic healing. These tools work because they help you quiet the mind and open the channels to your inner voice, whether that's in your heart, your gut, or something even deeper. You don't have to choose between logic and intuition. The goal is balance. Use logic to plan your path. Use intuition to choose the right direction. Use both to walk it with clarity and courage. You already know how to listen. Even if you've ignored your inner voice for years, it hasn't left you. You were born with the ability to listen within. Think of how children follow their curiosity, instinct, and emotion without hesitation. That wisdom is still inside you. You just need to remember. Try this, the awareness exercise. Here is a simple practice to reconnect with a blend of science and spirit inside you. Find a quiet space. Sit or lie down comfortably. Place one hand on your heart, one on your stomach. Breathe deeply. Ask a simple question, something small like, what do I need today? Or, is this the right choice? Notice. Feel any sensations in your chest or belly. A flutter, a warmth, a tightness, a sense of peace. Listen. Let your body and heart speak before your mind jumps in. This is not about forcing answers. It's about building a habit of checking in, learning your body's and soul's language. The more you do it, the more fluent you become in hearing what's true for you. Chapter 3. Why we lose touch. If your inner voice is always with you, quietly guiding, gently nudging, why do so many of us lose touch with it? The truth is, we're born with this connection intact. As children, we feel deeply, speak honestly, follow our curiosity, and instinctively know what feels good or wrong. But over time, layers of noise, fear, and conditioning bury that connection. In this chapter, we'll explore the common reasons people stop listening to their inner voice and how to begin the return. Number 1. Social conditioning. From an early age, we're taught to look outward for approval. We learn what's right and wrong, not based on inner truth, but on rules set by family, culture, school, and society. We're told to be polite, even when we feel uncomfortable, do what's expected, even when it feels wrong, achieve certain milestones, even if they don't make us happy. We become experts at pleasing others and forget how to please ourselves. This conditioning teaches us to distrust our instincts. We start asking, what will they think? Is this the smart choice? Will this make me successful? Rarely do we ask, what feels right for me? Over time, we disconnect from our own wisdom in favor of external validation. Number 2. Fear of being wrong. Listening to your inner voice takes courage because it often goes against logic, tradition, or public opinion. It may ask you to quit a secure job, leave a long-term relationship, start something unconventional, or slow down when the world says hustle. Fear steps in quickly. What if I fail? What if I regret it? What if I'm wrong? So we silence the voice before it even finishes speaking. But here's the thing. Your inner voice isn't about being right in the way we define success. It's about being real. It leads you toward what aligns with your deepest self. And yes, that might mean trial and error, but it's your life, your path, your truth. Number 3. The noise of the world. We live in an age of constant information. Every second, we're bombarded with opinions, headlines, life hacks, and curated images of what success, beauty, and happiness should look like. In this noise, your own voice can get lost. It's hard to hear subtle truth when your mind is filled with everyone else's advice, when your phone pings every few minutes, when you're endlessly comparing your life to someone else's highlight reel. This overstimulation numbs your sensitivity. It drowns your intuition in distraction. And slowly, you begin to doubt whether your inner voice was ever there at all. Number 4. Trauma and emotional wounds. For many, past pain causes disconnection from the inner voice. If you've been told your feelings were too much, your needs were selfish, or your instincts were wrong, you may have internalized the belief that your truth is not trustworthy. Trauma, whether physical, emotional, or psychological, creates survival patterns. Your body may learn to shut down or stay on alert. You may second-guess yourself constantly because once your truth led to pain. Reconnecting with your inner voice requires healing. It requires compassion. It asks you to sit with parts of yourself that were silenced and gently say, I'm listening now. Number 5. Overthinking and logic addiction. In a world that praises productivity and logic, many of us become mind-heavy. We analyze everything. We weigh pros and cons. We want guarantees before we act. But your inner voice doesn't work like a spreadsheet. It speaks in feelings, not formulas. When you're always thinking, planning, and predicting, there's no room for intuition to enter. Overthinking creates noise that blocks clarity. Logic is a powerful tool, but it must be paired with trust. Trust in yourself, trust in your body, trust in the quiet messages that arise when the mind finally rests. Number 6. We stop being present. Your inner voice only speaks in the present moment. It doesn't live in the past, where regret and guilt live. It doesn't dwell in the future, where anxiety and fear thrive. It speaks here, now, through your breath, your body, your heart. But most of us are rarely fully present. We're reliving yesterday or worrying about tomorrow. We rush, distract, multitask. We miss the signals right in front of us because we're too busy thinking about what's next. Presence is the doorway to intuition. You can't hear a whisper when your mind is yelling. The cost of disconnection. When you stop listening to your inner voice, life can begin to feel directionless, overwhelming, unfulfilling, like you're living someone else's life. You may feel a constant tug towards something different, but you can't quite name it. You may have success on the outside, but emptiness on the inside. Or you may feel like you're always waiting for clarity, for peace, for something to shift. That something is already within you. It's your voice, your knowing, your compass. And the good news? It's never too late to reconnect. How to begin reconnecting? Now that we understand why we lose touch, let's take the first small steps back to alignment. Create quiet moments. You don't need hours of silence. Start with 5 minutes. Sit without your phone, TV, or distractions. Breathe. Just be. Intuition needs space to speak. Ask simple questions. What do I need right now? Is this decision aligned with my truth? Your inner voice loves honest, present moment questions. Pay attention to your body. Where do you feel tightness, heaviness, or ease? Your body is a messenger. Start tuning in. Notice patterns. What drains your energy? What lights you up? Your inner voice often speaks through patterns and repeated nudges. Challenge the fear. When you feel resistance, ask, is this fear trying to protect me or stop me from growing? Courage often sounds like the voice you've been ignoring. You haven't lost it, you just forgot. Disconnection is not permanent. It's a pause, not a loss. Your inner voice doesn't give up on you. It waits, patiently, lovingly, quietly. The moment you choose to turn inward even just for a breath, you begin the return. The whisper becomes clearer, the guidance becomes steadier, and the path that once felt hidden starts to reveal itself. Reflection practice. Reconnecting with yourself. Take 10 minutes today. Sit somewhere quiet, close your eyes, and place your hands on your heart. Ask, what part of me have I been ignoring? Then listen. Don't judge what comes up. Don't rush. Just begin the practice of honoring whatever rises. You're learning to hear again. Chapter 4. Reconnecting through silence. In a world filled with noise, silence is revolutionary. Silence is not just the absence of sound, it's the presence of space. A sacred pause. An invitation to return home to yourself. When we become still, something magical happens. The noise of the world fades, and the voice within begins to rise. That quiet, wise presence, the one you've always had, starts to speak again. In this chapter, we'll explore why silence is essential for hearing your inner voice, and how to create moments of stillness in a fast-paced life. The inner voice speaks softly. Your inner voice is never loud. It doesn't shout over chaos. It doesn't compete with distractions. It waits calmly, confidently until you're ready to listen. If life feels too noisy to hear yourself think, it's not your fault. You've likely been pulled into the rhythm of a culture that glorifies busyness, multitasking, and constant consumption. But the soul thrives in slowness. It speaks in a different rhythm that requires you to pause. So, if you've been asking, why can't I hear my intuition? The answer might be this: you haven't slowed down enough to listen. The power of silence. Silence is not passive. It's not emptiness, it's presence. Here's what silence can do. Calm your nervous system, lower stress and anxiety, increase self-awareness, strengthen your connection to intuition, create space for creativity and insight. Think of silence as fertile soil. It's where the seeds of truth are planted and allowed to grow. When you're always filling every space with input podcasts, scrolling, noise, there's no room for your own wisdom to surface. Silence allows you to hear yourself again. Creating intentional silence. You don't have to retreat to a mountain or meditate for hours to access silence. You can find small sacred pockets in everyday life. Here are simple ways to begin. 1. Morning stillness. Start your day with 5 minutes of quiet before checking your phone. Sit with a cup of tea or coffee. Breathe. Just be. This sets the tone for a grounded day. 2. Mindful walking. Go for a walk without headphones. Notice the sounds of nature or the rhythm of your steps. Let your thoughts rise and fall without judgment. 3. Breath awareness. Take a few minutes to close your eyes and focus only on your breath. Inhale, exhale, follow the rhythm. This anchors you in the present moment. 4. Technology breaks. Unplug for short periods an hour, a day, or a weekend. Let your mind rest from digital noise. You'll be amazed at what returns. 5. Silent reflection. At the end of your day, sit in stillness. Ask, what did I feel today that I didn't express? Or, where did I feel most like myself? Let your inner voice answer without pressure. Stillness invites clarity. When you create space, clarity comes. When you sit in silence, truth rises. You may begin to notice subtle thoughts or feelings that were buried under daily stress. You might hear a whisper of direction or insight that felt invisible before. Stillness lets the surface settle so the deeper waters of your being can become visible. Think of your mind like a snow globe. When you shake it constantly, everything is blurry, but when you let it rest, the snow settles, and the picture becomes clear. Silence as a form of trust. Choosing silence is a powerful act of trust. You're saying, I believe the answers are within me. I don't need to chase them. I need to receive them. This shift from seeking to allowing is a spiritual surrender. It honors that wisdom doesn't always come in the form of facts or figures. Sometimes it comes in a feeling, a memory, a knowing. You don't have to force your inner voice to speak. You just have to make space for it to arise, facing what silence brings. Sometimes, silence feels uncomfortable. When the distractions stop, buried emotions may surface: grief, anger, fear, or regret. Don't run from them. These feelings aren't here to harm you. They're messengers, parts of you that want to be seen, heard, and healed. Your inner voice isn't just joy and light. It also speaks through your pain, showing you what needs attention. Trust that whatever arises in silence is part of your journey back to wholeness. Stories from silence. Many people report profound shifts after spending intentional time in silence. A woman overwhelmed by career stress spent one afternoon alone in nature. In the stillness, she realized her anxiety came from living out of alignment with her values. That day, she decided to make changes not out of fear but clarity. A man facing burnout turned off his phone every night for 1 week. In that time, he reconnected with his creativity and rediscovered a dream he'd buried years ago. A young student practiced 5 minutes of breathwork each morning. Over time, they noticed less confusion, more confidence in decision-making, and a deeper sense of calm. The common thread in all these stories? Silence didn't give them new information, it revealed what was already inside. Try this. The 3-minute listening practice. Set a timer for 3 minutes. Sit in a quiet place. Close your eyes. Breathe naturally. Ask your inner voice one question. What truth am I ready to hear today? Then simply listen. Don't try to analyze. Don't expect lightning bolts. Just be open. What you receive might come in a word, image, memory, or feeling. This is how trust begins one silent moment at a time. A sacred invitation. You don't have to feel every silence. You don't have to have all the answers. You only have to be willing to listen. In silence, you remember, you are whole, you are wise, you are not alone. Your inner voice has never left you. It's simply been waiting for you to return. Chapter 5: Rebuilding Self, Trust. Listening to your inner voice is only the beginning. The real transformation happens when you begin to trust what it says. But for many of us, self-trust doesn't come easily. Maybe you've made decisions you regret. Maybe you ignored your intuition in the past and paid the price. Maybe other people taught you that your feelings or thoughts weren't reliable. Whatever the reason, know this: self-trust is not a fixed trait. It's a skill and you can rebuild it. In this chapter, we'll explore why self-trust breaks down and how to begin repairing it so that your inner voice becomes not just a whisper, but a guide you can confidently follow. Why self-trust gets damaged. Trust is fragile. It's built through consistency, kindness, and presence, and broken by betrayal, abandonment, or repeated self-neglect. Here are a few common reasons why people stop trusting themselves. Ignoring inner nudges repeatedly. You felt something was off in a relationship, but stayed anyway. You knew that job wasn't right, but took it. You heard the inner no, but said yes to please others. When we override our intuition too many times, it stops speaking clearly, not because it's gone, but because we've trained ourselves to doubt it. Judging ourselves harshly. If every time you make a mistake, you beat yourself up, eventually, fear silences your voice. True inner guidance doesn't come through shame, but if you've internalized harsh inner critic, it becomes hard to distinguish your true voice from your wounded one. Letting others decide for you. We often hand over our power to family expectations, peer pressure, social media opinions, partners, or mentors. Every time we ignore what we feel to follow what others think, we send ourselves a message: I don't trust you. You can rebuild it. Rebuilding self-trust isn't about being perfect. It's about showing up again and again with honesty and kindness. It's about saying, even if I've messed up in the past, I'm willing to try again. Here's how to start. Number 1. Keep small promises to yourself. Start where trust always begins, with consistency. Think of a friend who always cancels plans with. You rely on them. Now think of one who always shows up. The same applies to how you treat yourself. Keep tiny promises. Drink a glass of water when you say you will. Go to bed when your body says it's tired. Say no when something doesn't feel right. Small actions rebuild big trust. Number 2. Speak to yourself with compassion. Harsh self-talk erodes trust. When you mess up or feel confused, speak to yourself as you would to a dear friend. Instead of, I can't believe I did that again, try, I'm learning. I made a choice that didn't serve me, and now I'll choose differently. Compassion doesn't mean avoiding responsibility. It means choosing healing over punishment. Number 3. Reflect on times you were right. Make a list of moments when you did trust your gut and it turned out to be the best decision. Remember, the relationship you walked away from, the job you turned down, the opportunity you followed that made no sense at the time, these memories are proof. Your inner voice has been guiding you all along. Number 4. Feel before you think. Before making a decision, ask, how does this feel in my body? Do I feel expansion or tension? Peace or pressure? Your mind may give you 100 reasons to say yes, but your body knows the truth. Tip: place your hand on your heart. Breathe. Ask, what is true for me right now? Don't rush the answer. Number 5. Journal without filtering. Let your inner voice speak freely by journaling without editing. Set a timer for 10 minutes and write whatever comes up. You might begin with, what do I need to hear today? What am I afraid of, and what's underneath that fear? What would I do if I truly trusted myself? Over time, these uncensored pages become a mirror of your truth. Number 6. Accept that mistakes are part of growth. Rebuilding self-trust doesn't mean you'll always get it right. You'll still make wrong turns. You'll still second-guess yourself. But each time you come back, each time you say, I'm still here, I'm still listening, you get stronger. Mistakes aren't failures. They're part of learning how to distinguish the voice of fear from the voice of truth. Number 7. Choose yourself again and again. Sometimes self-trust means choosing what's right for you, even if others don't understand. It might mean setting boundaries, leaving situations that don't honor you, saying yes to something wild and unconventional. The more you choose yourself, the more your inner voice trusts you too. It says, they're listening now. I'll keep speaking. Affirmations to rebuild trust. Repeat these daily or write your own. I trust myself to make aligned decisions. My inner wisdom is clear and steady. Even when I'm unsure, I choose to listen within. I honor my truth, even when it's inconvenient. I am learning to trust myself again, and that is enough. Reflection practice. Trust inventory. Take 15 minutes to write down 3 decisions you made that were in alignment with your inner voice. 3 times you ignored your inner voice and what you learned. 1 area of your life where you want to start trusting yourself more. End by writing this sentence and finishing it. If I fully trusted myself, I would. Let the answer guide your next small step. Trust is the bridge to inner freedom. Self-trust isn't just about making the right choices. It's about knowing that no matter what happens, you will show up for yourself. You will listen. You will grow. You will rise again. The inner voice becomes powerful, not because it's perfect, but because it's yours. When you trust it, you come home to your deepest self. And that is the most powerful change of all. Chapter 6. The role of emotions in inner guidance. Your emotions are not obstacles, they are messages. They are the language your inner voice often speaks through, especially when words fail. Joy, sadness, fear, anger, guilt, peace, shame, excitement. Each one is a signal, a compass, a guide. Yet many of us were never taught how to read this emotional map. Instead, we were told to toughen up, calm down, or stop being so sensitive. So we pushed emotions aside, and in doing so, we silenced the very voice we needed to hear. In this chapter, you'll learn how to reclaim your emotional wisdom and recognize feelings as allies, not enemies, in your journey to deeper self-trust and clarity. Emotions are information, not identity. Your emotions don't define you. You're not an anxious person. You're a person experiencing anxiety. You're not a mess you're feeling overwhelmed. You are not broken. You're moving through pain. This shift in language creates space for compassion. It allows you to ask, what is this emotion trying to tell me? Because emotions aren't random. They show up to signal something. That a boundary was crossed. That a need isn't being met. That something matters deeply to you. That healing is needed. When you stop judging emotions as good or bad, and instead see them as feedback, you begin to unlock the deeper messages they carry. Here are a few key emotions and the messages they often carry. Anger. Message. Something feels unfair. A boundary has been crossed. Anger can be protective. It may signal that it's time to speak up, say no, or make a change. Sadness. Message. I have lost something meaningful. I need to grieve and slow down. Sadness asks for softness. It invites you to let go, to feel deeply, to heal. Fear? Message. Something feels unsafe or uncertain. Fear isn't always a warning to stop, it's a request for awareness. Sometimes it's caution, other times it's resistance to growth. Joy. Message. This aligns with who I am. Do more of it. Joy is guidance too. It lights the way to your purpose. Shame. Message. I feel unworthy. Shame is painful, but it can also reveal places where you need gentleness and reconnection with your humanity. Peace. Message. This choice aligns with my truth. Inner peace is one of the clearest signs of alignment with your inner voice. Why we suppress emotions? There are many reasons we learn to hide or mute our emotions. We were told crying is weakness. We felt unsafe expressing anger. We believed happiness must be earned. We feared our emotions would push others away. We were never shown how to process emotions, so we buried them. But suppressed emotions don't disappear. They sink into the body and resurface through anxiety, fatigue, illness, or emotional outbursts. Listening to your inner voice means learning to feel fully, safely, and without shame. Emotional awareness is inner listening. Here's the truth. Your body often feels truth before your mind understands it. That tightness in your chest, that pit in your stomach, that flutter of joy, these are all your inner voice speaking through emotion. When you become aware of what you're feeling and name it, you reclaim power. You open a doorway between the emotion and the message underneath. Steps to listening through emotions. Number 1. Pause and name the feeling. Slow down. Ask yourself, what am I feeling right now? Try to go beyond good or bad. Use words like disappointed, hopeful, lonely, frustrated, proud, uncertain. Naming an emotion reduces its intensity and gives it clarity. Number 2. Locate it in the body. Where do you feel it? Chest, stomach, shoulders? Place a hand there. Breathe into that space. Let the feeling exist without trying to fix it. Number 3. Ask the emotion what it wants you to know. This might feel strange at first, but emotions respond to attention. Ask, what are you here to teach me? Then listen. You might hear a word, see a memory, or just feel a shift. Number 4. Respond with compassion. Say to yourself, it's okay to feel this. I'm allowed to feel this. I can learn from this. Even intense or negative emotions soften when they are acknowledged. Using emotions to make decisions. When faced with a choice, tune into the emotional response behind it. Ask, does this option feel expansive or contracting? Am I drawn toward it out of love or fear? Will this bring more joy or more resentment? Sometimes your inner voice doesn't give you a clear yes or no. It gives you a feeling, and you have to be quiet enough to sense it. When emotions get overwhelming, if emotions feel too heavy to carry alone, that doesn't mean you failed. It means you're human, and you're allowed to ask for support. Talk to a trusted friend, therapist, or counselor. Your inner voice thrives when you are held, not just when you're strong. Emotions are part of your compass. Your emotions are not in the way of clarity, they are the way. They are how your soul speaks when logic isn't enough. They are how your truth rises to the surface. To listen to your inner voice fully, you must listen with your heart, your body, and your spirit. You must become a compassionate interpreter of your own emotional landscape. Try this. Emotional check in practice. Once a day, take 5 minutes to do the following. Ask, what am I feeling right now? Write, name the emotion and what triggered it. Reflect, what does this emotion want me to know or do? Close, thank the emotion for showing up. Over time, this builds emotional fluency and reconnects you with the voice inside that never left. Let yourself feel. You don't have to fear your emotions. You don't have to run from them. You just have to feel them fully, honestly, and without apology. Your emotions don't make you weak. They don't make you irrational. They make you alive. And in their honesty, they lead you straight to your truth. Chapter 7. Courageous Choices. Following your voice when it's hard. It's one thing to hear your inner voice in moments of stillness and clarity. It's another thing entirely to follow it when the path it points to feels uncertain, scary, or even impossible. Sometimes your inner voice leads you toward comfort and alignment, but other times it nudges you toward uncomfortable truth. A relationship that's no longer healthy, a job that's draining your spirit, a truth you've buried for years. The question is not, can you hear your inner voice? It's, will you trust it when doing so asks everything of you? In this chapter, we'll explore how to find courage when your truth asks you to step into the unknown. Listening is easy until it isn't. Let's be honest. Some decisions are terrifying. You might feel afraid of hurting others, worried about judgment, unsure of the outcome, frozen in self-doubt. And yet, somewhere inside, you know what's no longer working. You know what you really want. You know the truth even when it's inconvenient. The inner voice doesn't promise ease. It promises authenticity. And to live authentically, you must walk through fear. Why the truth feels scary. Your brain is wired for safety, not change. Even if you're unhappy, if the situation is familiar, your nervous system feels safer staying there than risking the unknown. But here's the paradox. Growth often feels like danger because it's unfamiliar, not because it's wrong. So if following your inner voice makes you anxious, it doesn't mean you're on the wrong path. It might just mean you're growing. Stories we tell to avoid the leap. When your inner voice calls for change, the mind often fights back with stories like, I don't have the time, money, support. What if I fail? Maybe it's not that bad. Other people have it worse. I'll do it someday. These stories aren't truth. They're fear disguised as logic. Your job isn't to eliminate fear, it's to see through it. Fear is not my enemy. It's my invitation to pay attention. Signs your inner voice is calling for change. You may feel restless in your current situation, drained after spending time with certain people, numb, disconnected, or like you're just getting through, bursts of inspiration followed by self-doubt, physical tension, fatigue, or anxiety without a clear reason. These are soul signals. They mean something wants to shift. Courage is a muscle. No one is born fearless. Courage is not a personality trait, it's a practice. And like any muscle, the more you use it, the stronger it becomes. Start small. Speak your truth in a safe conversation. Set a boundary. even if your voice shakes. Say no when you mean no. Apply for the thing, leave the thing, start the thing. Courage doesn't mean you're not afraid. It means you move forward with a fear. The pain of staying stuck. There's a saying, change is hard, but so is staying where you don't belong. Yes, stepping into the unknown is uncomfortable, but staying stuck when your inner voice is begging for more can quietly erode your spirit. Regret grows in the spaces where we silenced ourselves. So, ask yourself, what is the cost of not listening to my truth? Let that answer guide you. You don't have to leap alone. Courage isn't a solo act. You can talk to a friend who's walked a similar path. Hire a coach or therapist to support you. Join a community that understands your journey. Write down your fears and share them with someone safe. The voice within gets louder when it feels supported from without. Tools for courageous action. Anchor in your why. When fear rises, return to your deeper reason. Ask, why is this change important to me? Write it down. Keep it visible. Let it steady you when doubt comes. Visualize your future self. Close your eyes. Imagine the version of you who listened, who followed through, who trusted. What do they look like? How do they move? What energy do they carry? Step into that energy now. Create a safe first step. Don't leap off a cliff. Just take the next right step. Ask, what's one small action I can take toward what I know is true? Then do it. One call, one journal entry, one conversation. That's all it takes to build momentum. Affirmations for brave transitions. Use these to support your journey. I trust myself to take the next step. I am allowed to grow beyond what's familiar. My truth is worth honoring even when it's hard. I can be scared and brave at the same time. I choose myself with love and courage. Courage leaves a legacy. When you choose to follow your inner voice, you don't just change your life. You give others permission to listen to theirs. You become a lighthouse, a guide, a reminder that truth, no matter how scary, is always worth following. So go gently, but go. Your truth is waiting, and you are ready. Chapter 8: Creating Space for Stillness. In a world that celebrates speed, noise, and constant motion, stillness can feel like a rebellion. But stillness is not empty. Stillness is full of answers. Your inner voice does not shout, it does not demand, it whispers, it waits. And to hear it clearly, you must make space for silence, for rest, and for reflection. This chapter is about why stillness is not a luxury, it's a necessity for reconnecting with your inner guidance. Why we struggle with stillness. Most people aren't afraid of being alone. They're afraid of what they'll hear in the silence. We often avoid stillness because it brings uncomfortable feelings to the surface. It forces us to slow down and face truth. We've equated being busy with being valuable. We don't know how to rest or reflect, but if you want to grow, you must stop running from quiet. You must learn to be with yourself fully, honestly, and without distraction. Noise drowns out truth. Every day we are bombarded with notifications, opinions, obligations, background noise, endless scrolling. It's no wonder we feel disconnected. The more outer noise we consume, the harder it is to hear the inner signal. Stillness doesn't mean doing nothing. It means doing what matters without distraction. What stillness can teach you? In stillness, you can notice the truth you've been ignoring. Hear what your body is trying to say. Connect to your values. Replenish your energy. Make aligned decisions. Receive creative ideas and insight. Stillness isn't laziness. It's preparation. It's where vision takes shape, making time for stillness in a busy life. You don't need to disappear into the mountains. Stillness can happen here, now, today. Try these practices. Morning silence, 5-10 minutes. Before reaching for your phone, sit quietly, breathe, ask, what do I need to hear today? Even 5 minutes can change your tone for the whole day. Digital Sabbath. Choose 1 hour, 1 day per week without screens. Let your brain rest, let your soul breathe. Nature walks. No music, no phone. Just walking and noticing. Nature has a way of calming the noise inside you. Mindful tasks. Even washing dishes can become sacred if you bring full attention. Feel the water. Watch your thoughts. Evening reflection. Before bed, sit with a journal or in silence. Ask, what moved me today? Where did I feel most like myself? What is my heart trying to tell me? Dealing with restlessness. Stillness can bring up resistance. That's okay. You might feel anxious, bored, frustrated, like you're wasting time. Sit with it anyway. Let the discomfort rise and pass. Over time, your nervous system will learn to relax into the quiet. Stillness is not isolation. Stillness is not about being alone forever. It's about learning to befriend yourself. So when you do show up in the world, it's from a place of clarity and peace. You don't lose time in stillness. You gain time by cutting through noise and returning to what matters. A simple daily stillness ritual. Here's a short practice you can begin today. Set a timer for 10 minutes. Sit in silence. No music, no distractions. Just breathe. Let thoughts come and go. Don't try to force clarity. Ask one question. What do I need to know right now? Listen. Not with your ears, with your heart, with your body. Do this for 7 days. Watch what begins to shift. Stillness strengthens self-trust. In silence, you meet yourself again. You realize that the guidance you're seeking has always been with you, that the answers aren't out there. They've been inside you, just waiting for quiet enough space to rise. When you learn to sit with yourself, you become your own sanctuary, your own source of peace, your own wise companion. Let silence be a teacher. Your inner voice is not in a rush. It's patient, but it speaks clearest in stillness. So, make space, slow down, breathe. Let the world spin without you for a moment. And in that moment, listen. Chapter 9, The Inner Voice and the Outer World, Living Your Truth Daily. The ultimate challenge of listening to your inner voice is not merely hearing it, but living it. It's one thing to hear the whisper of your soul. It's another to align your external actions with that inner truth. We often find ourselves caught between the pull of our authentic self and the pressures of the world around us. Family, work, society, expectations. This chapter is about how to bridge the gap between your inner world and the outer world. How do you live your truth in a world that sometimes seems to demand conformity? The answer lies in conscious, courageous action known step at a time. The inner voice is the compass, but you are the navigator. Your inner voice is always there, guiding you. But it's up to you to choose how you respond. Do you listen? Do you take inspired action? Or do you silence it in favor of comfort, security, or fear? Living your truth requires aligning your external choices with the voice inside. It means honoring yourself even when it feels difficult, unfamiliar, or unpopular. And it requires consistent effort, especially in the face of external pressures. External versus internal expectations. The outer world can be noisy. It tells you, what success should look like, what beauty should be, what you should wear, think, feel, do, how you should define happiness. When you are disconnected from your inner voice, you may rely heavily on these external markers to determine your path. But your inner voice doesn't care about societal standards. It cares about your personal journey, your individual growth, your alignment with what feels true to you. Living your truth means choosing the road less traveled, even when the world tries to persuade you to take the easier, more conventional path. Living your truth starts with small choices. You don't have to make drastic changes overnight. In fact, it's the small, everyday decisions that define your alignment with your inner voice. Here are a few ways to begin living your truth daily. Number 1, be honest in your conversations. Speak your truth, even when it feels uncomfortable. You don't have to reveal everything at once, but choose to be authentic in the small moments, whether with friends, family, or colleagues. Number 2, set boundaries that honor your needs. You deserve to protect your energy. Say no when you need to. Say yes to things that align with your values. Setting boundaries is one of the most powerful ways to live authentically. Number 3, follow what brings you joy. Your inner voice will often lead you to experiences that fill you with peace or joy. Take note of what lights you up. Say yes to the things that make you feel most alive, even if they seem small or unconventional. Number 4, align your actions with your values. Every day, ask yourself, what do I truly value? Are my actions reflecting these values? If you find the gap between your values and actions widening, take small steps toward closing it. Live in alignment with what matters most to you. The power of saying no. One of the most significant ways to live your truth is by saying no to things that don't serve you. Saying no isn't about being selfish. It's about honoring your own needs, energy, and well-being. When you say no to the wrong things, you create space for the right things. The more you say no to things that drain or distract you, the more room you make for what lights you up. When living your truth feels hard, there will be times when living your truth is difficult. People may challenge your decisions. You may face disappointment. The journey might feel lonely or uncertain. But remember this, the discomfort of living your truth is temporary. The pain of living out of alignment is much longer lasting. When you face resistance, whether internally or externally, return to your why. Why is this truth important to you? What would it mean to your soul to honor it, no matter the cost? Even when it's hard, the rewards of living authentically far outweigh the challenges. The ripple effect of living your truth. Living your truth doesn't just impact you, it influences everyone around you. When you choose to live authentically, you inspire others to do the same. Encourage vulnerability and honesty in relationships. Create a more compassionate, open world. The beauty of living your truth is that it's not just about your own fulfillment. It's about creating a space for others to live theirs, too. Living your truth in the face of fear. Fear often arises when you are on the verge of transformation. Fear tells you to stay small, stay comfortable, stay safe. But fear is not the enemy, it's simply a signal that growth is near. When fear arises, remind yourself, this is the path of growth. I am becoming more aligned with my true self. I trust the process, even when it's unclear. You don't need to silence fear, you simply need to acknowledge it and move forward despite it. A practical exercise, the truth compass. Once a day, take a few minutes to ask yourself, am I living in alignment with my inner truth right now? Ask yourself, are my actions reflecting my values? Is my heart at peace with what I am doing? Are there areas where I'm compromising for comfort or approval? If you identify a gap between your truth and your actions, choose one small step to close that gap. The more you consciously bring your life into alignment, the more natural it will become to live in truth. A reminder: your truth is yours alone. Living your truth is not about comparison. It's not about doing what someone else is doing or following the path that others have paved. It's about finding and honoring your own unique journey. Your truth is yours and only yours. It doesn't need anyone else's approval to be valid. The ultimate reward: inner peace. When you live in alignment with your inner voice, a deep sense of peace follows. You feel grounded in who you are. You make decisions with confidence. You move through life with a quiet certainty. This peace isn't about having everything figured out. It's about trusting that, even in uncertainty, you are on the right path. Chapter 10: Overcoming Self-Doubt. Trusting the voice within. Self-doubt is one of the most common barriers to living authentically. Even when you hear your inner voice clearly, you might second-guess it. You might question whether it's just your imagination or whether you're good enough to follow through on it. In this chapter, we will explore how to overcome self-doubt and trust your inner voice, even when fear and uncertainty arise. The nature of self-doubt. Self-doubt can manifest in many ways. You might feel unsure of your abilities. You might question your worthiness. You might fear that you're not capable of living up to your potential. At its core, self-doubt is rooted in fear, the fear of failure, the fear of judgment, and the fear of making the wrong choice. But here's the truth: self-doubt is a part of the human experience. It doesn't mean you're not on the right path. It simply means you're about to grow. The key is not to avoid self-doubt, it's to learn how to navigate it. Why we doubt ourselves. Self-doubt comes from several places. Past experiences. If you've been criticized or rejected before, you might doubt your worth or abilities. Perfectionism. The belief that if something isn't perfect, it's not worth doing. Comparison. Comparing your journey to others can make you feel inadequate. Fear of failure. The thought that if you try and fail, you'll be exposed as a fraud. These fears are natural, but the question is, how do you deal with them? Recognizing the voice of doubt. One of the first steps to overcoming self-doubt is recognizing when it's speaking to you. Doubt often shows up as negative self-talk: I'm not good enough. What if I fail? Procrastination. You put off making decisions or taking action. Overthinking. You endlessly analyze the possible outcomes, paralyzing yourself in the process. Perfectionism. You believe you need to have everything figured out before you begin. Recognizing these patterns helps you understand that they are simply thoughts, not truths. They're not the voice of your inner wisdom, they're the noise of fear. Transforming doubt into action. When doubt arises, you have two choices: give in to it and let it stop you. Move through it by taking action despite it. Taking action in the face of doubt is one of the most powerful ways to silence it. Every small step you take sends a message to your subconscious. I trust myself. Here's how to start. Start small. If you're doubting a big decision, break it down into smaller, more manageable steps. Each step builds your confidence. Focus on progress, not perfection. You don't need everything to be perfect. Progress is enough. Affirm your worth. Remind yourself daily that you are worthy of the life you're creating, even if it feels difficult. The power of self-compassion. One of the most effective ways to silence self-doubt is through self-compassion. Self-compassion is the ability to treat yourself with kindness when you make mistakes or feel uncertain. Instead of berating yourself for feeling doubt, treat yourself as you would treat a close friend who is struggling. Offer love, encouragement, and patience. You wouldn't tell a friend they're unworthy because they had a moment of doubt. Don't do it to yourself. Self-compassion allows you to acknowledge your fear without letting it control you. Recognize that it's okay to not have all the answers. Be gentle with yourself as you grow. The importance of trusting your intuition. When you're faced with self-doubt, remember that your intuition is your greatest ally. Your inner voice doesn't speak from a place of fear, it speaks from a place of wisdom and truth. Here's how to deepen your trust in your intuition. Practice mindfulness. When you're still and present, you can hear your inner voice more clearly. Meditation, deep breathing, and even simple walks can help you reconnect with yourself. Journal your thoughts. Writing down your doubts helps you separate them from the truth. It's a way to get clarity on what you're really feeling. Check in with your body. The body holds wisdom. If something feels off physically, it might be a sign that your intuition is warning you. Letting go of perfectionism. Perfectionism is a huge barrier to living your truth because it paralyzes you with the fear of making a mistake. If you believe you need everything to be perfect, you'll never take the leap. The truth is, there is no perfect path. There is only your path. The key is not to wait for the perfect moment, the perfect condition, or the perfect solution. Perfectionism often arises from a fear of failure, but failure isn't something to fear. It's a lesson. It's a stepping stone. It's an opportunity to grow, trusting yourself and your choices. Living your truth means trusting that the choices you make are the right ones, even if they don't always seem logical at first. When you listen to your inner voice, you're guided toward experiences and people that align with your growth, sometimes in ways you can't predict. Even when doubt arises, remember, your inner voice has never led you astray. Every challenge you face is part of your journey, and every mistake is an opportunity to learn. Affirmations to combat self-doubt. Use these affirmations when doubt creeps in. I trust my intuition and my ability to make wise decisions. My worth is not dependent on perfection. I am worthy as I am. I have the strength to move through fear and uncertainty. Each step I take is a step toward growth and alignment with my truth. I trust myself even when I'm unsure. Building unshakable confidence. The more you practice trusting yourself, the more your confidence grows. Confidence isn't the absence of doubt. It's the willingness to act despite it. Every time you choose to take action, even in the face of fear, you build resilience. Over time, you will begin to trust your inner voice more deeply and rely on it more confidently. The gift of overcoming self-doubt. When you move beyond self-doubt, you access a deeper layer of freedom. You stop seeking external validation. You stop second-guessing yourself. You start living in alignment with your true self unapologetically. This is the gift that comes with listening to your inner voice. You will become a living testament to the power of self-trust, and that confidence will radiate into every area of your life. Conclusion: your inner compass. As you reach the end of this journey, it's important to remember one core truth. Your inner voice is not a distant dream or an abstract concept. It's a living, breathing part of you, always ready to guide you. Throughout this book, we've explored how to listen to that voice, how to recognize it amidst the noise, and how to act on its wisdom. The steps toward living authentically and confidently are not always easy, but they are always worth it. Your inner voice is your compass. It knows the way, even when the path seems unclear. It whispers the truth you need to hear when doubt clouds your mind. It offers guidance when the world feels uncertain. To listen to it is to choose yourself, to trust your worth, and to embrace the full potential of who you are. It's to stop searching for external validation and start relying on the quiet, unwavering voice within that knows what is best for you. You may face moments of doubt, fear, or confusion. You may be tempted to silence the inner voice in favor of comfort or conformity. But remember, the truth you seek has always been inside you, just requires the courage to listen, trust, and act. Every step you take toward living in alignment with your inner voice is a step toward deeper peace, fulfillment, and authenticity. And every time you listen and trust, you strengthen the connection to your true self, empowering you to navigate life with clarity and confidence. Your inner compass is always with you, guiding you through each moment, helping you make decisions that align with your purpose and values. It's not a one-time discovery, it's a lifelong practice. And the more you listen, the clearer the voice will become. So go forward with faith in yourself. Trust in your inner guidance. And remember, the path may not always be straight, but as long as you're following your true north, you will always find your way. Your inner voice is the key to living your most authentic life. Keep listening, keep trusting, keep moving forward. This concludes the book. I hope the journey of listening to your inner voice leads you to deeper fulfillment, clarity, and personal growth. Thank you for taking this journey with me. The power to live your truth is within you. Trust it.